Figure 8 circuits are common in Marbula 1, but not so in the world of Grand Prix racing. The one exception, of course, is Suzuka. Hey everybody, I'm Greg Woods as we take a look at the marble version of this Hugenholtz classic masterpiece of a track, where we will go in the peak of cherry blossom bloom season, Sakura season as the natives call it. And it is a beautiful place to be, and a daunting track on which to race. We get things started in our first look at the marble version of this circuit with Jack Doohan. Interesting race back in China. 45 laps on the hard compound tires. It was a tough one, but a lot better than the opening lap outage that he had in Australia. He will set the opening time, which everyone will chase. 21.66 in the Alpine. In the other Alpine, talk about an interesting race, Pierre Gasly. Oh, in China, one that they would like to forget. Half a second quicker in the first sector and a quarter of a second quicker by the end of it. Gasly goes into first here in Q1. Everybody will run, and at the end of this session, the bottom 5 are eliminated. They will fill into those bottom 5 grid slots, and from there, we go on to Q2 where we do the same thing. Bottom 5 eliminated after that, and a 10 marble shootout for pole in Q3. Adjar goes into fourth. Lawson had moved into second. Alex Albon, no stranger to marble racing, needs to pick up some time here in sector number 3. Does just slightly, but still goes slowest of all. Carlos Sainz coming up now, 10th place in the Williams back in Shanghai. For now, displaces his teammate in 5th. Nico Hulkenberg in the Sauber comes around Spoon Curve, under the crossover. Yes, it's the other way around in this track, because that's how gravity and Marbula 1 works. Gabriel Bortoleto in the other Sauber, trying to chase his teammate who has gone fastest of everyone, hard into that chicane. And might have lost some time as a result. 7/10 the difference between those two teammates. Fernando Alonso would love to get this season started at some point. Came in dead last with a DNF back in China and is trying to right the ship here by going first at the near midway point of Q1. Lance Stroll cannot beat the Spaniard up top and goes into second place. Kimi Antonelli, who suffered floor damage back in China en route to a 6th place finish, however. 0.04 of a second quick in the first sector and in the second, but lost quite a bit in the third. Slots into 5th and looking for safety to make it into Q2. George Russell, fastest of everyone in the middle sector, lost a lot in the third, however, and still slots up into P3. Around Spoon Curve comes Yuki Tsunoda in the Red Bull. So much to talk about between Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda, and that will not make Helmut Marko very happy. Tsunoda, 13th. Max Verstappen goes first, fastest of all by 0.16 of a second in the other Red Bull. Just a few more runners left. Esteban Ocon is one of them in the Haas. Goes 6th. That will be safe to make it to Q2. Ollie Behrman, solid 8th place back in Shanghai, and 6th here. Still over half a second off, however. Charles Leclerc on the fast run through this backstretch underneath the crossover. Leapt up in the air through the chicane. Goes 14th. That is in the danger zone right now. Safe for the moment. Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. Disqualified for something different than his teammate last race. Goes 10th and is safe. Bortoleto, Albon, and Tsunoda are out so far. Oscar Piastri, our winner in Shanghai, 7th and safe. That knocks out Leclerc in the Ferrari. Lando Norris, our last runner. Will Carlos Sainz make it through? Norris was in a dead heat through sector number 1. Half a second lost in sector number 2. It won't do too much damage. He comes in just ahead of his teammate in 7th. Our bottom 5, Sainz, Leclerc, Bortoleto, Albon, and Tsunoda going dead last. Worried faces on the Red Bull pit wall after that one. The hopes, as they so often have in the last couple of years, sitting squarely on the shoulders of Max Verstappen. Isaac Ajar coming back out. Set the new time to beat here in Q2. 15 marbles in this one, with the bottom 5 at the end eliminated. Jack Doohan also out on track. Over the line there, 21.64. Very similar to what we have seen for some of the times in Q1. Doohan in the Alpine, half a second quicker in the middle sector. Liam Lawson in his first race for RB. So many eyes were on him at Red Bull. I think so many more will be watching this weekend in the RB, but with much less pressure, perhaps, on him now that he is no longer in the Red Bull. Taken it very well, all things considered, but what a difficult situation to be in regardless. Taking a look here on the run of Kimi Antonelli. And he replaced Lewis Hamilton, goes 4th and slowest of all runners thus far, but it's still very early. Antonelli, a lot of time needed to be picked up here as we watch Pierre Gasly go through the hairpin. Antonelli, in the meantime, goes slowest of everybody. Gasly coming through 5th. Ocon through the hairpin now, heading towards Spoon Curve. This almost double left-hander opens up through 130R. Tough to get that speed arrested through that final chicane. Flat out through that little kink, as we see Oscar Piastri doing the same thing. He had wandered to the inside of the track there. Didn't pay for it in time. Goes 2nd. You have to wonder if maybe we'll see some other marbles emulating that move. Norris does the same. Almost touches the middle right before 130R, the inside wall, before straightening out. That could be a key. Every time you go through this lap, very different than what you see in the big qualifying, in Marbula 1 style qualifying. You don't get multiple laps per Q session. It's just one, so every time you can do a lap, it's better. Lawson still holds on to the top spot, however, in perhaps a bit of poetic justice, as Kimi Antonelli becomes the first driver to be eliminated. George Russell, green sectors, that means going quicker, and puts 3 greens together to go up into first. Doesn't need the purple sectors. That just means fastest of anybody in that particular sector. The green is going quicker than the leader. And Lance Stroll, dead last. Gasly is also eliminated. Hamilton sitting on the bubble. Fernando Alonso, about a second off. Loses another 1/4 of a second in that final sector. Max Verstappen riding that curb. Hits the almost end of the curb there in the entry of the chicane, but it works out pretty well. Max Verstappen goes 2nd and is safe. Russell fastest of anybody. Down there at the bottom, we lose Isaac Ajar, Gasly, Antonelli, Alonso, and Stroll in the 2 Astons, and it leaves us with 10 marbles to compete. Who will win pole position for Sunday's Japanese Grand Prix? Nico Hülkenberg, first to take the track. For Sauber, 15th place and a lap down in Shanghai. 21.64 was that opening time that was set by the very first runner in Q2. Let's see if the times will be quicker from the get-go, and it is. A 1.5 seconds faster. The marbles know that this is their last chance. There is no playing it safe. Lewis Hamilton comes to a stop and almost goes backward in that chicane. 21.36, slower than the Brit would like. Esteban Ocon, then studying up and bumps that inside wall right before 130R. Behrman coming through the Degners behind. Around the hairpin, purple through sector number 1. Very close in sector 2. Over the line in 2nd. Ollie Behrman, provisional front row. Here comes Jack Doohan in the pink Alpine. Lando Norris, in the meantime, 0.3 of a second up through sector number 1. Very quick through the Senna S's. Piastri is released. We see him navigate the same section. Hülkenberg first, Norris in 2nd. Oscar Piastri building up the speed. Winning 2 races in a row would be great, but to do it, you got to start up here on the track, unless you're Kimi Räikkönen, that is. Piastri just 4th. Liam Lawson continuing to build. One of the quickest in Q2 and starts on the 2nd row provisionally in Q3. Verstappen on track as Russell streaks above. Verstappen over the line, only manages 6th. Lawson has out-qualified Verstappen. George Russell now, our final runner, and is not putting up the times that will be needed to beat Nico Hülkenberg, who wins the pole for the Japanese Grand Prix. Lando Norris goes 2nd, Liam Lawson, a resilient and resurgent 3rd over Ollie Behrman and George Russell. Last race's winner, Oscar Piastri, only managed 6th ahead of the defending world champion. Hamilton's Ferrari settles in 8th in front of Esteban Ocon and Jack Doohan, rounding out the top 10. This is a track that you can pass. Will it be so in Marbula 1 form? Lots of unknowns heading into tomorrow. The teams will be crunching numbers and planning strategies tonight. Jelle's Marble Runs is excited to announce our toy brand. You can now get our Skyway Chase Marble Run set and have team races with our Collector Series marbles or our individual sets of 10 marbles. Shop on our website now.